Back in 2019, I worked as a seasonal caretaker at a remote cabin resort in northern Minnesota. The place was surrounded by dense forest and a massive frozen lake. What I saw during those long, cold nights still makes me question what's hiding beneath the ice. My name is Alex. I had just turned 24 when I took a winter caretaker job at a cabin resort that only operated during the summer. The owner, an older man named Rick, hired me to live on site through the winter to make sure everything stayed in good shape. No burst pipes, no break-ins. Sounded easy, boring even. The nearest town was 45 minutes away, and the only way in or out was through a narrow road that snaked around the edge of Lake Vinter, a massive, frozen-over body of water that looked beautiful during the day, but completely lifeless at night. I was the only person there. No guests. Just me, the silence, and a radio that only picked up one weird Christian talk station. About a week into the job, I started doing nightly rounds. I'd check each of the 6 cabins, make sure the locks were secure, and walk the perimeter of the property. One night, during my round, I noticed something strange out on the ice. A dark figure standing still, just staring toward the cabins. Couldn't make out any details. It didn't move, just stood there. I called out but got no reply. I figured it was a weird ice formation or maybe a fisherman's gear left behind. The next morning, I walked out onto the lake. There was nothing there, just smooth, untouched snow. No footprints, nothing, like the figure had never been there at all. But that night, it returned. This time it was closer. I could see the shape more clearly, tall, slightly hunched, and its head tilted to the side. I shined my flashlight toward it, and it disappeared like it had never been there. No footsteps, no movement. Gone. A few nights later, I started hearing tapping. At first it was faint, like ice shifting or cracking. But then it got louder, like someone was knocking. Not on the door, but under the cabin floorboards. When I opened the crawl space hatch under the cabin, I found it completely frozen over. A solid layer of ice covering the dirt. That wasn't normal. The heater had been working fine. Then I found something under the ice. A handprint. Just one. Pressed up from underneath, perfectly shaped. Human-sized. I called Rick the next morning, freaked out. He brushed it off. Said it was probably an animal. A raccoon or something. But animals don't leave perfectly human handprints under frozen ice. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat in the living room with a fire going, holding a flashlight. Around 2:13 a.m., I heard footsteps. Not inside, not outside, underneath. Slow, crunching the ice beneath me, and then tapping again, just beneath where I sat. The next day, I drove into town, determined to find out if anyone else had experienced anything strange out there. I stopped at a local diner and asked the waitress if she knew anything about the lake. Her smile faded immediately. She leaned in and whispered, "You're not the first one to see him." She told me about a boy named Marcus who went missing on the lake 40 years ago. He had fallen through the ice in the middle of winter. His body never recovered. They say every winter since, someone claims to see a man standing out on the lake, silent, watching. Locals called him the Drowned One. They believe his body froze beneath the ice, preserved, and every year he comes back, still under the surface, still watching. I was done. I didn't care about the paycheck anymore. I went back to the cabin, packed my stuff, and planned to leave at first light. But that night, he came to the door. I was lying on the couch, all the lights on, when I heard a single knock on the front door. Just one. I froze. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I looked through the peephole. There was no one there. I turned away, and then there was another knock, but this time from the back door. I didn't check. I just grabbed my bag, jumped into my truck, and drove. As I pulled away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. He was standing on the roof of the main lodge, watching me. I didn't stop driving until I hit the edge of town.